In the heart of Brazil's Amazon rainforest lies a lake unlike any other. It wasn't always here. It was built, flooded, engineered. And in the process, something was lost. Hidden beneath these waters, a forgotten town. A place that once echoed with life. Today, none of it can be seen from above. But locals say it's not really gone. Strange lights flicker across the surface at night. Bells are heard when there is no wind. Shadows drift beneath fishing boats. It's a real place, buried under decisions made in the name of progress. This is the story of Brazil's submerged city and the lake that swallowed it. The Balbina Dam project began during Brazil's military dictatorship in the 1970s, a time when ambitious projects often overshadowed local concerns. It was sold to the public as a modern solution, an energy project that would bring power to the growing city of Manaus, a symbol of progress. But from the start, there were problems, huge ones. Environmental studies were rushed or ignored. Indigenous territories were dismissed without consent. The voices of the people were often unheard. And when the government broke ground in the early 1980s, no one fully understood the scale of what was about to happen. To create the reservoir, they would need to flood over 2,300 square kilometers of pristine rainforest. That's an area larger than the entire city of London. Imagine that loss. It wasn't just trees that were lost. It was homes, schools, entire villages. Communities that had existed for generations were told to leave. Their history, their roots, submerged. Some were relocated, others resisted, thinking the water would never come that far, clinging to hope. But it did, and it came fast. By 1987, the Balbina Dam was fully operational. Power was generated. But the cost was much higher than electricity. What was built was one of the least efficient hydroelectric dams in the world, a paradox of progress. What was destroyed can still be felt beneath the water. The official narrative often paints Balbina as a step forward, that the cost was a necessary sacrifice for energy, but numbers don't lie. They tell a different story. Balbina flooded an enormous portion of forest, over 200,000 hectares, yet produced less than 1% of Brazil's total energy capacity, a staggering inefficiency. Worse, the vegetation left to rot underwater began releasing methane, a greenhouse gas far more potent than carbon dioxide. What was advertised as a green energy source quickly became one of the country's worst environmental disasters, a hidden consequence. But few outside of Brazil have heard of Balbina. Its story remains largely untold internationally. It doesn't appear in textbooks. It's rarely discussed in international media. And almost no one talks about what lies underneath, the human cost of this progress. One of the many communities lost was Vila Balbina, a place erased from the map. A small town with wooden homes, a church with a bell tower, a school, and a cemetery. A vibrant community now silent. The people were told to evacuate, but many believed they had more time. They couldn't fathom their homes vanishing. Some stayed too long, some never left, their fate intertwined with the rising waters. When the water came, it swallowed everything: homes, memories, lives. To this day, no official map clearly shows where Villa Balbina used to be, its existence almost denied. But divers and drone operators say the outlines of roads and structures still appear when the water level drops. Ghosts of the past resurfacing briefly. Some say the steeple of the old church can still be seen when the sun hits just right, a fleeting reminder. Others say the bell rings at night, a ghostly echo in the silence. Even though it's been underwater for decades, the memories linger. Not all the stories about Villa Balbina are official. They live on in the memories of those who were there and the tales whispered by those who live nearby. Not all the stories about Villa Balbina are official. They live on in the memories of those who were there and the tales whispered by those who live nearby. Locals living near the reservoir, especially former residents of flooded towns, tell strange tales, experiences that defy easy explanation. One elderly woman, Donna Teresa, was interviewed by a local newspaper in 2019. Her voice carries the weight of loss. She said she lost her entire community to the flood, and that sometimes, when the mist settles on the water, she hears voices, the past refusing to stay silent. Children laughing, prayers being spoken, the creak of wooden doors opening and closing, sounds from a life that was. She hasn't been back since the flood, the trauma too deep. But she says the place hasn't stopped calling, a persistent echo of what was lost. Fishermen who work on the lake have similar stories, their livelihoods intertwined with this submerged history. Some refuse to cast nets near certain areas, claiming their gear gets pulled or tangled for no reason, an unseen force at play. Others say they've seen flickering lights underwater, like lanterns swaying far below, a mysterious glow in the depths. One story, whispered more than told, involves a rescue diver sent to retrieve the body of a drowned worker near the old cemetery. A chilling account. According to the tale, when he surfaced, he was shaking, white as a sheet, and refused to speak for days. The silence spoke volumes. He later told a friend he saw something moving between the gravestones, something unnatural. And it wasn't a fish. What did he witness in that watery graveyard? Is this just imagination? Folklore born from trauma? The mind trying to make sense of the unthinkable? Maybe, but in a place where entire lives were lost in silence, maybe the silence is what speaks loudest. But the stories, they demand to be heard. They demand to be understood. This is Lore.exe, and our mission is to decrypt the untold. If you found this journey into the depths of Balbina as unsettling and intriguing as we did, then consider subscribing to Lore.exe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation into the hidden truths of our world. And tell us in the comments, what other submerged mysteries should we uncover next? Like, share, and join our mission.